I think this is an important election. I mean, midterm elections are a lot of times overlooked, and a lot of issues are at play, a lot of seats, kind of both in local elections and in national elections. So it's really, I think, going to swing things here in North Carolina as well as across the nation. So I thought of it as a very important election to kind of get out here and make my perspective heard.
America is speaking at the polls, Republicans expecting an historic victory. And the First Lady of the United States has her own ideas on how to vote for and for whom. Welcome back to Midpoint, veteran political analyst and co-author of the new book, Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, written with wife Eileen McGann. Dick Morris joins us on the telephone today. Dick, here we go. Big day for everybody to go ahead and get to some news. And we got a few things sitting here, but I wanted to hit you first with Michelle Obama, who told a television audience on the Roland Martin TV show News One Now. She said it's not about the person on the ballot, it's about you. And for most of the people that we're talking to, a Democratic ticket is the clear ticket that we should be voting on, regardless of who said what or did this. Sounds like a last-minute grab to try and see if you can get somebody to get to the polls and help.
Yes. Well, she's running now as Michelle. She's kind of dropped her last name a little bit, much like Hillary used to. Look, I think that what's going on here is, I think there's a fair chance, not a certainty, but a good chance of a Republican sweep today. You never know because turnout is very variable in off-year elections. That's because the level of commitment to the candidates is less than it would be in a presidential race, and the type of people who are voting tend to be more upscale and more susceptible to argumentation. But in any case, the trends are very important. And the polling in the states reflects an increased Republican trend. The Democrats are talking a lot about their enthusiastic ground game, but it remains to be seen. If the Republicans win the Senate tonight, which I think they will, and if they win it with a large, strong vote, which I think they might, then I think you really have to look at this as a coup d'etat, not as just simply a transfer of power in the U.S. Senate. Because the Republicans will be able to use the House and the Senate to pass an extensive agenda of stuff the country really wants, things like the Keystone Pipeline and tax reform and flat and level taxes and a range of things like that I think will have privacy, will have broad popular support. And Obama will be in the position of marching to the Republican beat or vetoing the bills. And I think that, and also that will put Hillary in a very tough position because she has to buy into Obama's vetoes and run on them or risk losing the support of much of the party. So this is going to really be a transfer of momentum from the Democrats to the Republicans and a transfer of the main center stage. And that's why I think it's got more in common with a coup d'etat than a simple election.
Considering the sweep, as you said, and many people agree with exactly that analysis, if there is one race that's out there, Dick, that concerns you, that might hurt that sweep, or that might come up with something of a surprise, what comes to mind?
Kansas. Kansas might go independent, which is to say Democrat, and roll back and take a seat away from us, a takeaway. Early in the evening, we'll be together tonight, Ed, but early in the evening, the things to watch are first Kentucky and Georgia. They close the earliest. And in both states, the Democrats are trying to take seats away. If McConnell is winning Kentucky by 6 points or more, and Perdue is winning Georgia by 4 points or more, there's a good Republican trend on. Then the next will come at 8 o'clock when polls close in New Hampshire and North Carolina. Those are the two most iffy of the Republican takeaways from Democratic seats. If we win those states, we're going to win everything. And then you proceed on to the West Coast.
Wanted to get your opinion then on a news story today that is top of the Newsmax website at the moment. Jeanne Shaheen, the New Hampshire Democrat, the senator, exchanging correspondence with a top official at the IRS about cracking down on the political activity of tax-exempt groups, suggesting she played a role in the scandal that saw conservative groups targeted for heightened security. And it comes out on the day of the election. Got to have an impact.
Well, normally I'm suspicious of anything that comes out the day of the election, but conservative groups have been after that document for months. and have been stonewalled by the Justice Department. And finally, they ran out of excuses and they had to produce the document. And it shows that Schumer and Sheehan and a bunch of other senators were the core of the motivation for the IRS scandal, that it was they who were demanding that Citizens United be in effect overturned by the administrative action of the IRS. And it really put Sheehan right at the center of that.
Let's ask about Joe Biden here, because late today he predicted the Democrats would end up with around 52 seats in the Senate and retain their majority during a Get Out the Vote interview on Connecticut radio. And also, I guess it's worth noting that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has said recently that we will remain in control. I would expect that you talking about the sweep and many others, that the 52 seats, the vice president is being exceptionally optimistic.
Or pessimistic, depending on what you're looking at. I think that there are 3 seats that are guaranteed: South Dakota, Montana, and West Virginia. So 52 would be the 52 Democrats would be the absolute maximum that they could get. But then we have very strong and commanding leads in Arkansas and in Louisiana. Louisiana may not manifest itself until after the runoff. There'll be a runoff, but we'll clearly take that seat. And that would reduce the Democrats to 50. And then we have good-sized leads in Iowa and Alaska and Colorado. And I don't see the Democrats winning any of those. That puts it at 52, 53, 47. Then you have the possibility of losing one in Kansas. And then you have the possibility of winning 2 in North Carolina and New Hampshire. And that's the range of plausibility. But if it's a major Republican sweep, and we're talking about a huge thing, then you could also look at some seats that have not come into play. Franken could have trouble in Minnesota. Udall, the other one, the brother, could have trouble in New Mexico. And Welby, the Republican doctor, could do well in Oregon. I keep my eye on those as a possible alternative.
And as Dick Morris has said, we will be here all throughout the night. First of all, let me remind everybody, be sure to get your free offer of Dick Morris's #1 best-selling book, Power Grab. It'll be very helpful coming up for the 2016 elections. There it is. Make sure you get Power Grab at powergrab411.com. Dick, thanks so much. We'll talk to you in a couple of hours.
See you tonight.
All right. Reminder once again that our election coverage right here on Newsmax TV begins at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Steve Molsberg from New York with a countdown to the midterms pregame. And then let's go ahead and drop the puck at 8 o'clock. Here we go on the Newsmax TV network.